Peace and blessings. Much respect, much love. Y'all already know. So y'all already know all we do. We're going to give it a few minutes and then we're going to jump straight into the message and the topic because I never like to lose my train of thoughts or any of the downloads I got from God, the universe, and my ancestors on the subject matter they want me to talk about. So, yep. So y'all already know what it is. We're going to dive into some family topics today. We'll switch it up a little bit. And yep, we're going to dive into that. It's going to be a nice discussion. So, hope those that tune in and catch the message after the live, I hope y'all enjoy, which I'm sure y'all will, because it's going to be a nice topic. So, it's going to be a nice topic. Loving the way this yellow is looking. Sir. Peace and blessings. I'm going to just get started. Whoever come in after this, y'all catch the message after. So peace and blessings, much respect, much love. It's your boy, the Ghetto Guru, a.k.a. Shango, coming back with another spiritual message. Hope all is well with y'all. Hope you're having a good day. If your day is not going good, hope the rest of your day get better. But I got a message for y'all. Hope it resonates for those that's listening. And, if it's not resonating with you, then, pass it on to somebody that it does resonate with. But let's get straight into it. So the topic today I'm going to talk about is two-parent households. The topic for this video is going to be two-parent households. So somebody I know, they actually requested this video subject to me about 2 months ago. So I didn't go live in a while around that time, so I didn't get a chance to really dive into it. So now I'm like, let me dive into it because I started doing lives again the past couple of weeks. So they was just asking me, because they knew me since I was younger. So they were saying, it'd be interesting if you talk about how it was growing up with two parents in one household. So I'm like, all right, cool, I got you. So now I'm ready to talk about it because it's a lot of things like misconceptions. That's the word I'm looking for when it comes to that. Especially growing up in the hood and the ghetto. There's a lot of pros and cons because usually people hear two-parent household, they be like, how's there cons? But there's cons. It might not be inside the household, but it can be if that two-parent household is not healthy, if it's a lot of toxic things going on in that household with them. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about outside your environment. Thank you, God. That's the word. Your environmental influences, those are where the cons come in. So like I said, I grew up two parents, one household. I was fortunate enough to have that. I had both of my parents in my life, and it was a great experience. It was interesting. Look at Missy in the back. Always gotta make a cameo. It was interesting. It was very, how would I say it? What's the word I'm looking for? Informative. It was very interesting, very informative. I say interesting and informative because I had the chance to learn a lot of information from both parents. So, like I said, for people that grew up in the hood and the ghetto, you get to see the different information that you attain when you are around two parents in your household, or they're just in your life. Not just in your life. Not just in your household, but if you got two parents in your life that's like fully active in your life, you see the information difference and what you learn and what you get taught versus the other children that that don't have those parents in the same household, even have two parents in their life. So the information that I gathered was way different. It was a lot of value in that because it taught me a lot of things that a lot of people, a lot of the other kids that didn't have both parents in their household or just active in their life, I've seen the difference in the information, the way we used to carry ourselves and the things. It was just the way we went about things. So there was a difference in that. And like I said, my father was, for the last few lives I talked about growing up with my father. He was very militant, no nonsense type person, very informative. He was Aquarius, so he's, things had to be his way. He wasn't the best emotional parent, but he was very loving and caring. He just showed it in his way. He just didn't do it in any emotional, lovey-dovey type of hug you all the time, tell you I love you every chance he get. He just wasn't that type of person. So that used to get in between us. Sorry, I got something in my eye. It's probably eyelash. But I used to get in between us a lot when I was younger. We used to get into a lot of disputes because of that. Just the way he went about things when it came to that. And my mother was very loving. She was a Leo, so she was more expressive when it came to her love, her emotions, people person. My father was more of a to himself type of guy. He interacted and knew people, but he just was to himself. My mother was the opposite. She was more the extrovert, loving, caring, giving out love, unconditional love, doing things for people. She just was that type of person. So that's where the information came, because I got to learn from both sides how to be. I got to learn how to be serious, learn how to handle business, learn how to carry myself, and learn how to move correctly in the world, and just move correctly as a man. From my father, the things he was teaching me, even though they was very militant and very rules and regulation based things, it taught me a lot and shaped me into who I am today. Then I got that other part. Then I got the other part from my mom's, where she taught me how to have unconditional love for people, how to care for people, how to take care of people if they need help, how to help people as well, how to speak up for yourself, how to go after things that you want to do, and just always be yourself. Because, there was always another important thing they both taught me was having your own mind and being yourself. So those are all the great things that I experienced with my parents and stuff. And, it's just, besides them doing different things in my life, and my father putting me in different, matter of fact, I'll connect that more to the cons that I'm talking about. But, those are just some of the pros, just having in my life the information, just the ways to go about life, how to treat people, how to conduct myself. Like all that stuff made a big difference. And I seen the difference it made when I hung around the children that didn't have that type of structure in their life. So those is just, it was always good when it came to that. But I noticed when I got older, rather, I didn't notice that. Not even that I didn't notice, but I just wasn't aware of what it was when I was younger. But when I got older, I got to actually put exactly what that was that was happening and why that was happening. So everything was great, like I said, in the household. But when it came to me going outside the household into the environment, excuse me, that's where a lot of the cons came. So when I went out into the world, whether it was around other family members or just other kids that was friends and going to school and stuff that was just in the area, when it came to that, I noticed that I received a lot of what I didn't know at the time was envy and jealousy from other children, because they seen I had two parents in my life, not just in the household, but they were active in my life. So they didn't mean to be jealous or envious like that towards me, but it was just because of that aspect. So it came out in a lot of different ways in the actions or the way they used to interact with me. And when I was younger, I didn't understand it, but I understood it when I got older, because I was able to analyze it and put a finger to what it actually was that they were doing. So say if they see me or my father coming to pick me up after school or walking me to school in the morning, or, they're giving me lunch or something like that, like little things like that. Like I would go to school and, majority of the, kids at that time in public school, because I went to all boys, good public schools right now in Harlem, you going to Catholic school at that time. But like I was saying, elementary and stuff, that was the last time I was in co-ed. So I would notice that, when I had lunch and stuff like that, like I would have like, snacks, cookies, sandwiches, I was, like I said, I was fortunate enough to have, both parents that was able to provide those type of things in my life, and then just having them in the household. So I would notice that a lot of the kids didn't have, the funds. Basically, their parents didn't have the funds to make them, make them lunch, make them breakfast, or buy them breakfast, or giving them money for after school to be able to get something to eat. A lot of the kids didn't have that. So when I came around, with that, with lunch and snacks and just endless supplies of that created a lot of envy and jealousy with other kids. Not even just the fact that it was looking at me, but it was just looking at what I was able to get from my parents that they weren't able to get because they didn't have both parents active in their life. So that's where a lot of the envy and jealousy started with a lot of kids, when it came to that topic. So I would notice that. So me, because, and this is what created the people pleaser, passive aggressiveness inside of me when I was younger. So, and then just me just trying to be nice, and my caring, loving side I learned from my mother, and sharing with people who don't have, I will always overshare with people, just trying to be nice or trying to have everybody feel good when I was around, because I didn't want nobody feeling lack when I was around. I didn't like that. Even as a kid, I would notice that. So I didn't like that feeling. So because of that, I used to overshare. So I would go to school, if I had extra snacks, extra cookies, I would share with people. Sometimes I had 2 big packs of cookies. I would give it to people that didn't have nothing to eat, or whatever the case, piece of my sandwich, whatever the case was. Because I just didn't want anybody. I just didn't like seeing nobody. I just didn't like seeing anybody not have anything to eat. Like, I didn't like that, especially if I had something I'm eating in their face, and if I got more than enough, I wanted to share with other kids. So I was doing a good thing, but I didn't realize how that was creating a monster within its own. So, like I said, a lot of the kids would see me with my own lunch or be able to have that every day, and that created a lot of envy and jealousy, not just because it was me, but because I had 2 parents in the household and a father that was active in their life to do those things. So that created, and then me thinking, oh, let me share and stuff like that, and they'll see that, I'm the same as them. I just happen to be fortunate that I got 2 parents active in my life and in the household. But me sharing and stuff like that, that created a relationship where they feel like they can prey on me, because they feel like, oh, okay, I can take his kindness for weakness. So I had to learn the hard way that aspect of that. Me just trying to be nice and share, and I have a good gesture and a good intention rather. What I'm doing. That created an open lane and a doorway for people now to take advantage of what when I was a child, and not only take advantage, but just prey on my weakness, prey on my kindness, and take it as weakness. So I got to learn that aspect of it. When it came to, like I said, after school, a lot of the kids, because I had 2 parents, they was able to afford a different living style. Even though I was still in the hood, we was able to afford living in a building that was nice. That was different than a lot of the buildings that my friends lived in. A lot of my friends lived in the projects. Some, not all of them, but some of them lived in buildings, but it might not have been the best of, the best buildings in NYC. So compared to the building that I lived in, it was like moving up, like the Jefferson, George and Wheezy, like literally. They all looked at me like, yo, he got money, or his parents got this, or he lucky, he's spoiled. And that's where, thank you, that's where I wanted to connect. That's where I started getting the title spoiled from a lot of friends and family that was around. And I always used to get upset when they used to say that, like, oh, you spoiled, you spoiled, you spoiled. Like, even girls I used to deal with, they used to be like, oh, you spoiled, you spoiled, you spoiled. And it used to get me upset because I don't like that word spoiled, because I'm like, you taking away from me now. You taking away from, like, I didn't have to do nothing to earn anything I ever got from my parents. And I didn't like that. You basically saying like I'm just like similar to a spoiled rich white kid that's driving around Bentleys and stuff like that. And I'm like, last I checked, I'm still in the hood with y'all. I'm still going to the same hood school, hood places to eat like y'all. I'm in the hood parties just like y'all. I'm doing all the stuff like y'all. I'm just fortunate enough to have two parents that can afford certain things that maybe everybody else around me, parents can't afford. And that's just what it is. That's not my fault. But that doesn't mean you treat me any different or you look at me like an outcast. I'm just like y'all. The same way. I'm same way. No, it's no different. Same places y'all doing, same way, same places y'all going, same people y'all know doing the same things y'all doing. I'm just got two parents in the household. So I seen how that was where people try to create a difference between me and them, like, oh, he's spoiled, he got this, oh, he got that. And that's when I got older and realized I wasn't spoiled. And I knew I wasn't spoiled then too, but I corrected the right word. I was fortunate. Cause like I said, spoiled is for rich white kids whose parents is buying them Bentleys and stuff. Just because I had two parents, they said I was spoiled, but that's in terms of the hood and the ghetto. What's up, Court? How you doing? How you doing, Courtney? Yeah, so they would, but because we're in the ghetto and they looking at what I got, they looking at me like, oh, you rich because you could get this, or you got the latest Jordans, or your father always getting you this, or your mom's or whatever, you always getting the latest games and whatever the case was. So that's why they considered it spoiled, because that to them in the hood, that was like, yo, you getting money. But it's like, if that's the case, I wouldn't even be living here. Trust me, if I had the choice, I would not be in the hood going to school or living here. We would be living somewhere else way better. So that's why I never liked that when they used to say, oh, you spoiled. I was fortunate. Enough to have both parents, but I still had to put in work, still had to learn how to move, and I still had to learn how to survive like everybody else in the hood and the ghetto. I had to learn foul people, foul dudes, foul girls, all that. I had to learn all that. Same way they had to do it. So it was no difference. But like I said, they get blinded in the hood when they see that you got both parents and they active in your life and they can just get things for you. They take that as you're an outsider, or you spoiled, or you just not black enough, all that. Like you ain't really struggling, you ain't really black, all that stuff. So I always was an outcast when it came to not just friends, but also in family. Thank you, God. Before I forget this, thank you, God. That's another thing. A lot they create. Oh, matter of fact, before I even say that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say this part first, then I'll connect it to that. I was gonna connect it to after school hanging with kids, but let's talk about the family part first. Then it'll connect more with the jealousy with the friends. So in family dynamic, when I used to go over people's houses and stay and stuff like that, I had family members take sneakers, steal game, break games on purpose, come back and like, yo, my game get broken as a kid. Just different jealousy, envious things. Like people, I don't know how they broke it. I don't know. I was playing the game. I don't know who did that. Like these would be different things that would happen. And I knew what it was when I was younger. Like I didn't want to believe it. But as I got older and I look back on those things, I'm like, that's what it was. But it was those type of things like that. People stealing my stuff, or like when I wasn't looking, different things like that. Right, exactly. You already know man. If they had any idea how much strength in the Capricorns, that's exactly why that sheep be climbing on them damn mountains in real life, because that's exactly the Capricorn energy. Nobody could do that. No other animal is doing that. And that's the same for the Capricorn energy. No other human got to deal with the Capricorn energy stuff we got to deal with, because it's crazy. Like, it's literally like that goat climbing on the mountain. Like literally. And still be out here with a smile and moving with grace. Like how? I don't know how we do it. But yeah, like I said, like I used to have that happen with family members, not just friends. Or go over there with new sneakers or something like that. I'm staying over a crib and there's mad kids over there. I wake up, sometimes kids probably take the sneakers, wear them, and then try to put them back like they ain't wear them, all type of stuff. Break games, all types of stuff. Like they did it on accident, but these are all jealousy things because I was able to afford a game system. I was able to afford those new sneakers because of my parents and different things, and that created that envy and jealousy where they did things like that because of that. Even though I'm trying to share, once again, learning the hard way, which created the people-pleasing mentality in me as a child and as I got older, that's what shaped me into doing that, and the passive aggressive behavior as I got older was that type of stuff. Same way I explained about how it was happening in elementary school. That was the same thing happening in the family. And then going back to the elementary school, this the other part I wanted to say. After school, like I said, I lived in a building that was nicer. So I was cool. The people I was cool with, the kids I was cool with at the time, I used to be like, yo, everybody come to my house. My parents was real nice and lenient. They used to be like, very loving. My mother was very loving. So she used to be like, oh yeah, the kids could come over, stuff. She used to buy everybody. At that time, this is when 5 chicken wings and fried rice and French fries from the Chinese store was like $2.25, like $2, like throwback, like so because of that, she used to buy everybody. I'm talking like 5, 6 kids, buy everybody all food. We used to come to my house, eat, play the games, do different things. Like this is what they did. Cause like I said, I learned that from my mother. She didn't like to see nobody going hungry or without. She wasn't raised like that. She was raised from my grandmother. My grandmother was like that. My grandmother, everybody knew on the block as Granny. We call her Granny. Everybody knew Granny was going to do you right if you need help. So my mom did the same thing with my friends and stuff like that. But because of that, that's another thing that they seen then. His mom is able to buy this and that and food for everybody. My moms can't do that. My pops don't do that. Or my pop don't even know my pop. Because of that, that was another thing that in my head, I'm looking at it as something good. And it was. But it just, because of that, the way they was looking at it from that perspective, of like, damn, he get to have this, and I can't even do, my mother can't even do this for me, or she can't even do this for my friends, or my father can't even do this. That created more jealousy and envy between not just my family, but also more with friends that I was getting cool with as I was younger. So those are a lot of the things that I went through growing up with 2 parents in the hood and around other kids that weren't that fortunate to have both parents not only in the household but just in their life. So that showed me a lot, and it taught me a lot. And then not just by myself but by other people. So a lot of times, like I said, I had to learn. I was always shunning myself, not even shunning myself, but I was always dimming my light lower than it was supposed to be shining, because I was always worried about making somebody feel some type of way, or making somebody feel offended, or making somebody feel less than or not valued because of things that I was able to have or wear and come around with. Like I said, able to invite people to the house and they see the way we was living and this, or just different things that was in my house that I was able to get from my parents, or just different things like that. I had to learn how to really. Well, when I got older, rather, I had to learn how to really stop worrying about that, because I used to do that too much. I used to like I said, that created a people pleasing and very passive aggressive behavior personality in me. So I used to always trying to please everybody first before I do, or whatever, not trying to make somebody feel offensive or make somebody feel offended or whatever, something that I have or I was able to get or my parents was able to, whatever the case was. And it really showed how that's not good as I continue to get older, because I started shunning away who I was, or making myself shrink because I'm trying to make everybody else comfortable. But when it comes to them doing the same for me as far as treating me with respect or looking out for me, they ain't do that. And that's part of that passive aggressive behavior and that people pleasing mentality that happens. And that's from when I was younger, like I said, people taking the kindness for weakness, because I'm trying to share, or I'm trying to make you feel comfortable, I'm just trying to look out because I see you don't have, you have without. But instead of them seeing that when we were young kids, they just took that as, oh, this is just showing more of how his life is better than mine, or he has this over me, or he has his parents, are they able to do this, and I can't get this in my life. My parents can't give me this, or they can't buy me this like him. So I seen that and stuff like that, like I said, as I got older, and it just kept, even, you would have thought this stuff stopped, but even as I got through high school, college, whatever, it's just kept going. Even now, certain stuff with my mom's passed already, but just even as I got older, you just would see it even as adults. You would see it from other adults, and I'm like, oh, for real? Like, is it really that serious? But it was that serious. So it was like I said, there's a lot of pros to having both parents in the household growing up to them. But as far as your environment, it could be a lot of cons because of how people are taking you and everything that comes with you and your parents supporting you. So like I said, I always had to defend myself when it came to people assuming like, oh, you already had it made, or you spoiled, or you don't never have to do no work, or your parents could do it, or you lucky. And I'm like, I still gotta put in work. I still gotta do the right thing. I still gotta do all those things. If I don't do nothing I'm supposed to do, I'm not getting no video games. I'm not gonna be able to go outside. I'm not getting no clothes, no nothing. I'm not getting none of that unless I go to school, do my work, don't be out in the street acting a fool. Like that's the part that used to annoy me about hearing from people in the hood, like, oh, you spoiled. Because I'm like, you taking away from everything I gotta do to be able to even receive these things. It's different if they just giving it to me and I'm just failing in class, not showing up for school, just wilding out. That's different. Then you could say I'm spoiled, yeah. But nah, they wasn't playing that. Like, it was straight discipline, different things. But that's the part they weren't seeing because they were so blinded by the materials, which happens in the world. People just looking at your materials and your lifestyle, which is funny because we in a lifestyle era now. I'll just put the air quotations. We're in a lifestyle era now, which is social media era, where everything is about lifestyle, what you got. So it's funny to see that now, especially on that, like, yo, I had to go through that with parenting and people looking at me like that. Now we in an era where you gotta act like, oh, people looking at your lifestyle, or you making your lifestyle look like this, everybody's jealous, or they looking at this. So it's always a constant compare, who got what, who got this, who don't got this, or you lacking, or you a bum, or you this, or you ain't got no drip, whatever the topic is on social media that week, that day. You already know how I go on social media. We ain't even gotta play around with that. But that's what I mean. Like, it's funny to see that. That's how society is crazy now. Like, everybody is to the point your jobs is gonna ask you for what's your social media link. Agencies, model agencies, but oh yeah, you trying out, you walking, you see you walk, model and all that, but they ain't taking you unless they see that Twitter or the Instagram account and see if you popping, basically. If not, they ain't calling you back. So it's funny how the lifestyles and different things, aspects of everybody judge you off that now. So it's just interesting to see. I just realized that just now while we're talking about that. But anyway. So like I said, I went through that a lot with people, like I said, friends stealing from me, family taking things from me, breaking things. Oh, that was another one. Treating me different when they got around other kids. That was their friends. They would be mad cool, me in my house, all that stuff, chilling, hanging out, staying the night, everything, laughing, cooling, you know what I'm saying, eating food, all that stuff, getting grade A treatment and all that. But as soon as they got around their other friends or whatever that was, or other family members that they considered more hood than me or more in the in crowd than me, whole different person. And that was another aspect where I got to see about the jealousy and envy thing. Like, oh, okay, I'm only good because of these things. You know, I got this or whatever in my house to play games or this, or you could get fed well when you come over here because my parents gonna look out, or they'll buy you stuff and buy you. My parents used to buy my friends sneakers, all that. That was another part of the jealousy thing too. And they happy. That's why I said it's crazy, because they happy, my parents, that they was able to get the Jordans or whatever they moms or their pops couldn't get them. But then they get more mad and jealous at me, like, damn, they got enough to afford this and then buy me sneakers too. And instead of them being happy and fortunate enough to have a friend like that with family that would do that, that created jealousy where they would treat me different. Like I said, act funny, or especially when they got in front of other children that they consider more hood or more, you know, like I said, more like them, they would treat me way different in front of them. And I was back to the lack feeling when I was younger, the people pleasing, and I'm wondering, damn, what I do? Why? Back to that. So I was always blaming myself for something that really had nothing to do with me. It really wasn't. I had to learn that as I got older. Like, because that's what people do. People project things onto you and they make you feel like you did something wrong just for being you, or just because of the life you have, and it's not your fault. Like, it's not your fault. Like, I ain't gonna say we didn't ask for it, like, we all have a certain blueprint before we come down to these vessels. to we come from the spirit realm back to these vessels, or coming back again in another lifetime. But that's a whole nother topic. But basically, I'm saying it's not my fault, bro. Like the way everything was playing out in my life, different things, that's not my fault. What I can control is how I treat people, how I affect their life, and the impact. Thank you, God. The impact I can bring on their life by just being a good person and just being a decent human being. More than decent, I just said that because that's just a phrase, decent human being, but being a great human being by just treating people. That has nothing to do with being perfect, has nothing to do with not doing anything wrong, because that's what they used to always associate me with. Goody two-shoe, he's spoiled, he got this, his life is male, his parents. And that always took away from my individuality. So this is why, as I got older, I got more expressive, more vocal, and more of speaking my mind and not caring what everybody else is going to feel or think, whether they agree with what I'm doing or what I'm saying or not. That is a large part of it, and I had to outgrow that. So that was hard to go through from a child, teenagers, young adults, middle 20s, early 30s, because like I said, you even see it still sometimes, even as adults, certain times, certain people that knew you for that long and know that you had both parents and stuff or whatever the case was, and you still see them do little funny stuff or say little competitive stuff or jealousy, envious stuff that in regards to that. So, like I thought it stopped when I was younger, but nah, you still see it sometimes when you're older. So, but I had to go through those things as a child and learn and learn how this is how people could look at you or view you just because of a certain lifestyle your parents could give you because they're in your life or they're in your household. So you got to learn about jealousy and envious people so you learn how to protect yourself and you learn how to guard yourself. So I didn't understand it when I was younger, but as I got older, I understood I had to go through those lessons too. They were both friends and family. Because it taught me to never never trust no one. When I say never trust no one, I mean don't put anything past anybody. Because everybody always say, "Oh, I don't trust nobody," and that's BS. We all trust somebody to certain. We just don't trust people to a certain extent. That's what it is. Because everybody always, it sounds good. Yeah, I don't trust nobody. I don't F for nobody. It's just me and it. Yeah, okay. It's just like when people say, "Yeah, I'm self-made." All right, cool, you did all that, boom, but you still had to have supporters to support your vision because you wouldn't be nowhere without them. So, but it sounds good when we say those things like that and all, but you know what I'm saying. But basically that it all had to happen so I could learn that about people and learn how to move and learn how to, like I said, that's what I was trying to get the thought back. Thank you, God. That's what I mean about never trusting nobody. As far as that, it means don't put anything past anyone. Anybody is capable of doing anything. So yeah, I'm gonna trust people to a certain extent, or to the extent I know them, or to trust them for. But I'm not gonna just put nothing. I'm not gonna put nothing past anybody, because anybody's capable of doing anything. So, but basically, that taught me that about people. Like, doesn't matter if it's friends or family. It taught me that from younger. Don't put nothing past anybody. It taught me how to also not be too open with people or too giving or too forgiving with my energy and time, because, like I said, I was people pleasing as a younger child, as a younger teenager, young adult, and I didn't realize why those habits were in my personality until I got older. But it taught me that. So learning, I had to go through that to learn, like I said, not to give too much, not to be open too much, because that's when people feel or think that they could take your kindness for weakness. And I had to learn the hard way with those things in order to put me in the position I am today, to be this person I am today, which is more outspoken, more forward, more saying what's on my mind, and just being me and just being happy with that, knowing that if somebody doesn't want to be around me or cool with me because of who I am, then that's fine. When I was younger, I didn't know that. I was trying to keep the friends and everybody and stuff like that. I didn't want nobody hating because I had both parents and they was able to give me stuff when I was younger that the average people in the hood that I was around that couldn't get that because they didn't have both parents in their life or in the household. Or just, saying they had one parent active, some had none. Some had just grandparents, grandpa. So I was always shunning myself away from the spotlight, or when it got on to me about what people was saying I had on or what I was able to afford or have and other kids didn't have. I always try to change the subject, try to play it small. I try to share too much or try to just give too much or open my life up too much just to prove that, hey, I'm just like y'all. I could fit in. I'm cool. You ain't got to look at me different, blah, blah, blah. And I had to learn the hard way. Like, it didn't matter what I did to make them see that I'm the same way. Like, it don't matter if I got two parents in the household and they're able to do this for me in my life that your parents may not be able to do for you. I still got to go out here, learn how to move in the hood. I still got to go to the same wild school, still got to go to the same wild party, same place to eat, like all that. None of that mattered. Trying to prove that to them because they still were going to be jealous and envious of me regardless. So I had to learn that. And that's why I'm speaking of today, learning that, you just got to be you. It don't matter who it affect. It don't matter who feels some type of way. It just is what it is. Everybody's not going to like you. And that concept, I couldn't understand that when I was younger, as far as like everybody's not going to like you. You hear that, but you just really can't fully grasp it because the automatic thing for the human being to do when you hear that is for people to like you. So that sounds foreign when you first hear that when you're younger. Like, what you mean everybody ain't gonna like you? You ain't gonna be everybody's cup of tea. Everybody not gonna find you attractive, whatever the case is. When you get older, you understand that because you are able to see that perspective when you look at the world now. You went through some things and you learned some lessons and you was able to change some things about yourself. You realize there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually a great thing because everybody don't need to be around everybody. Everybody don't need to be with everybody, and everybody don't need to like everybody because we might be into different things that don't mix with each other. So why even try to fake the funk or try to be fake and try to fit in and people please when we just don't mix? And it might not even be that we don't like each other. We just don't mix. That happens sometimes. There's people might be like, hey, yeah, they're attractive, they're good looking, but they just don't look at them in that way. And that's fine. That was foreign to hear that when you're younger. Like, what? This person look good, you just not into them. Or this person's a nice person, they the nicest person I know, you don't like them? Like, that was foreign to hear, but that's because the human doesn't want to grasp at first, knowing that somebody doesn't like them or somebody doesn't want to be around them. And like I said, it doesn't even have to be for a specific reason. It's just that you just don't mix. So these are very big lessons that told me a lot. Just from that aspect of my life of how people view me when it came to having two parents in a household and what they was able to do for me and provide for me when I was younger. And in my teenage years and whatever, and young adult years and stuff like that. So, yeah, it told me a lot. And it told me a lot from knowing what spoiled is and what fortunate is. Because everybody assumed that. And that's only because we in the hood and we live there. So, if one kid is doing better than the other kid in the hood, they look at you like you're rich. And we're not rich. We all still in the hood. We just one person might be fortunate to live in a nicer building or something or whatever. But we still in the same environment. Like, we still got the same problems when we come outside, same whatever the case is. So yeah, man, it just told me a lot and it shaped me into who I am today and helped me just realize a lot of things when it came to just learning people and just how people think, and sometimes how people can label you something because they just looking at the outside and looking at your material gain or what you're able to receive and what you have, and they determine that as who you are, determine that into how to treat you or if they get jealous, envious, how to badmouth you or make people go against you because they jealous, envious of those things. So it told me all those things, and I got to see all those sides. And like I said, I had to learn the hard way growing up, trying to people please and make people fit in and make them feel adequate. Thank you, that's the word. Make them feel adequate when they was around me because of these things. I had to learn that that's not the way. If they don't like you because of that, then that's what it is. They ain't never gonna like you. No matter what you do, what type of treatment you treat them good as, you invite them to your house, your parents treat them good, feed them, it don't matter. I done did all that with plenty of people and they still stabbed me in the back. Still did something dirty. Still said something foul. Still, come on. Man, on a deeper level, it's people that have been in my house. And I got into a crazy situation and then snuck me during a fight. And I'm like, y'all let this thing in my house, and then snuck me during a fight. Like, it's that much stuff I'm talking about. Like, not even to dive in that situation too deep, but it's stuff like that. Like, you can tell the passion that I'm feeling, 'cause I'm still speaking passionate about the situation, because that was foul. And that's one of those things that still boils my blood a little bit thinking about that. Just because of how the treatment I treated the person. But this is what I'm saying. I had to learn the hard way about learning. It don't matter what treatment or what good you do or none of that. If the person don't like you, they don't like you. And if they go and look at you a certain way because of whatever the case is, you're able to get this from your parents, or they're able to support you or put you in programs and different things. Because that was another thing too. Right, it's crazy. It is crazy, Courtney. It's crazy. And I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. I already know from experience. I'm sorry that you had to deal with that too in your life. It's crazy. It's traumatic. It's a lot of trauma with that. A lot of people don't talk about that. It's a lot, especially when you grow up in an environment where, like, it's different if you go in an environment where everybody else is able to afford things. It's different. But when you're in an environment where other kids can't afford certain things, you able to have both parents be able to do that for you, it creates a whole different aspect for you when you go around those kids. When you go into school, it's like Hunger Games. And if you don't know how to move, they gonna feast very well in the lion's den. Like, it's that serious. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I just see Courtney saying the same thing. Like, it really is that serious. So yeah, man, that's basically it about the topic. Yeah, so it's a lot. Definitely was a lot of tremendous, probably a lot more. Oh, that's the thing I want to say before I get up. Thank you, God. Dang, what I was gonna say. Yeah, like, just even I brought up the thing about, like, being able to get certain material items and gifts and stuff like that, but just even beyond the material gifts and stuff like that I was able to get and stuff like that created jealousy and envy with other kids, because their parents wasn't able to do that for them, and it made sense and stuff like that. But my parents will put my father. Specifically, he would put me in a lot of programs when I was younger. Thank you, God. I almost forgot. He would put me in a lot of programs and stuff like that when I was younger, like for sports, swimming, track, gymnastics, basketball, computer classes. Like, he just put me in different things to see where my mind was at as a kid, to see see what I was into, what I was going to take to. And, so he let me try out a bunch of different things. So that was another thing that a lot of kids, it created envy and jealousy with the other kids that their father wasn't able to do that for them. So that was another thing. My father used to put a lot of my friends, he used to put them in the programs, to take them to the tournaments, pay for them to be in the tournament or the program, stuff like that. Like, that's how my parents were. But that, even though they were treating them nice and they was getting treated nice, that created more jealousy and envy within them towards me because of that. Because they like, oh, his parent could afford to not only afford to get us all food after school, and we can stay over at his house, and they mad cool, and they, and whatever the case is, and they get him stuff and they get me stuff too. Now he able to put me into programs in basketball and other stuff that my pops couldn't put me in, or my parents couldn't put me in. So that was another. I'm thinking that's making us stronger, but it was another thing that was making them more, even more. We say it's the word I could say, not even cattier, just more spiteful. Thank you, God. That's the word. Just more spiteful with me because of those things. So those are the things that you just learn from young, and you don't understand it. Because like I said, the average human mind is wondering, why doesn't somebody like me? Why are they doing this and I'm treating them right? Why are they viewing me as this when I'm really a great person? But it's because he's saying you don't understand when you're younger, because like I said, it's the average human mind. You want people to like you, you want everybody to like you. But when you get older, you understand that quote more, that everybody's not going to like you. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. Because a lot of the times you're not going to do anything wrong for them not to like you. It's just something, man, it ain't have nothing to do with you. It could be, like I said, it could be, oh, you came into school as a kid, oh, you got the new Jordans, or I don't like them. And I'm like, why you don't like me? But they mad because my parents was able to give me that and they parents couldn't. So it's stuff like that. I got to see, like, oh, having two parents active in your life and able to do things for you, being fortunate, that created a lot of hostility with other kids that couldn't. So I got to see how they acted when it came to our friendships, or it came to family members, with our relationship with family members, and it always was this static intention, low key, or that was festering under. Some was not even low key, some would just say little slick stuff out, and that you would be like, yo, why they said that? So that's the reason for all those things. And as I got older and I look back, I'm like, I understand the part they played in it, I understand the part that I played in it, because that created, like I said, I didn't know any better by, just trying to share, just trying to make everybody fit in, and me trying to dim my light to make everybody feel comfortable. I'm doing myself a disservice, and then I'm making them power up more, because now I'm making them feel like, I can take advantage of his kindness, and they're looking at it as weakness, and that's not what I was doing it for. So now, since I learned that, and just from that topic of those things happening, now I learn how to not do those things so often unless it's warranted, meaning that I don't do it unless it's really somebody that's genuine. I'm not going to give my all unless it's somebody that's genuine. I'm not going to just give it to just any stranger like I would do before when I was younger, just to people please, or just to fit in. I'm not going to shrink myself more like when I was younger to make other, like I did when I was younger, to make other kids feel better because I had money to get lunch or breakfast and they didn't. I'm not going to shrink myself and make myself feel small or make myself feel bad because of that, because that is not my fault. And that's what people do. They make you feel like it's your fault. The way they treat you, like I said, from the jealousy and the envy, or making fun of whatever the case is. And I had to learn that those things are not my fault, and that has nothing to do with me as an individual, because that's just material things or whatever the case is, but it just matters who I am. So if y'all basing me off this or whatever the case is, then that's, y'all didn't get a chance to know who I am, because that has nothing to do with me. I'm still the same kid like y'all that gotta go live in the ghetto, that gotta learn how to move in the ghetto, gotta learn which ghetto parties not to go to, what ghetto blocks not to go to a certain time, how to move a certain basketball court. I had to learn the same rules, same headaches, same this, running from bullets just like everybody else out of parties and schools and all type, like all that, going to fucking high school games, people getting wild. I had to go through all that. It just, the only difference was that I just had two parents, and then a lot of my friends didn't. But they try to separate me as if I was an outcast and I wasn't black enough, or I was just like a quirky black guy, and I wasn't like the other kids that was in the ghetto. So I had to learn those things to be like, it's all right for people not to accept you because of certain things or whatever they make up in your head because of their jealousy and envy towards you, or whatever projections that they're projecting onto you that makes them feel better about themselves. So I don't even, before those type of things will affect me, if I heard people say certain stuff or about me or because of the jealousy, the envy of how they looking at me or what I had or was able to have in my life when it came to both of my parents. I used to care and I used to take it to heart. Now I was like, I don't care about whatever opinion somebody got about me if they don't know me or truly know me, because I know who I am now. And I know it's all right. It's all right. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, especially if they don't know me. If they do know me and they say an opinion that's not true, that's all right too. Like, because it only matters what God, the universe, and the ancestors got to say, and it only matters what I think about myself. And the same as you, it only matters what you feel about yourself. So those things had to happen to bring me to this point of today, of learning how to speak up for myself, learning how to be myself, no matter who else it makes feel away, and just learning how to just not be a people pleaser and just do me. And whoever's gonna resonate with it, they resonate. Whoever's not, they not. And there's nothing I could do for those people. They gonna like me, they gonna like me. They don't, they don't. It just matters if you like yourself at the end of the day, and if God is telling you what you're doing is right at the end of the day as well. So that's the message, man. I hope y'all was able to resonate with that topic. And because it's a very serious topic, and a lot of people don't talk about that enough, about growing up, especially in the ghetto environments with a lot of people that don't have two parents in a household, or even two parents active in their life. And they don't talk about that, like how was it growing up with two parents in a household versus people that didn't, and how did that affect you, or how did it affect your youth and stuff like that, or just relationship with people in the world. So I'm glad we got to touch on that. I hope it resonated with y'all out there. And like I said, if it didn't resonate with you, then share it with somebody in your life that you know needs to hear this message. But yeah, so I appreciate y'all always. I love y'all. I can't do it without y'all. I appreciate all y'all support. And yeah, that's basically it, man. So peace, blessings, much respect, much love. I love y'all as always. Keep doing your thing. Stay focused. Stay goal-oriented. Keep your eyes on the prize and keep your eyes on the target of the goal. And like I always say, it doesn't matter if we run, jog, sprint, or crawl, because life is hard. Life is that hard sometimes. You can't run, you can't jog, you can't sprint. Only thing we could do is crawl to our destination. But like I always say, somehow, some way, we got to make it to our destination someday. So peace, blessings, much respect, much love. I love y'all always. I respect y'all. And keep doing your thing. Until the next topic, peace.